spent in a miserable way.
U.S. News: New York passes first major gun control bill since Sandy Hook. The New York Times. By N. What you need to know to start the day. Albany, New York lawmakers on Tuesday approved the most comprehensive set of gun bills in the state in 6 years, including measures that would ban bump stocks, prohibit teachers from carrying guns in schools, and extend the waiting period for gun buyers who do not pass an instant background check. In total, 6 gun bills passed easily through the state Senate and Assembly, a remarkable sight in a capital that for years had resisted almost all new legislation on the subject. Government. Andrew M. Cuomo. Mr. Cuomo has described the SAFE Act as one of his signature achievements. But it has also, sometimes history irrefutably bears out your actions, the governor said on Tuesday, at a news conference lined with gun safety advocates. Today is the next day. The relative ease of the law's passage highlighted, for the second time in just 2 days, the upheaval that November's election brought to Albany. Democrats capped, on Monday, for example, a bill that sailed through the legislature, 13 years after its introduction. The Senate. Tuesday's marquee gun bills passed largely along partisan lines. No Republicans. The most debated item was a so-called red flag bill, which would allow family members, school officials or law enforcement to ask courts to temporarily block someone from buying or owning a gun, if the judge decided that person posed a potential risk. That provision in particular drew an emotional response from Linda Beitel Schulman, whose son, Scott, grew up on Long Island and was teaching at Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida during the massacre there last year. He was killed. Parkland would never happened if they had a red flag law, Ms. Schulman said while sitting alongside Mr. Cuomo, adding that one of the killer's former teachers told her that the shooter had showed disturbing tendencies. Senator Brian Kavanaugh, a Democrat from New York City who sponsored the bill, said the number of New York State residents who die each year, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention because of guns is unacceptable. He added it's also California, Washington, Indiana and Connecticut have similar provisions to keep guns away from high-risk people. Republicans suggested the bill would allow people to randomly curtail Second Amendment rights for many New Yorkers. Today's actions infringe upon the rights of law-abiding citizens, said Senator Pamela Helming, from Central New York. The bill ultimately passed the Senate 42-21, and the Assembly 83-32. A few proposals did earn Republican votes, those that would establish a gun buyback program, and that would prohibit the sale of bump stocks, which enable semi-automatic rifles to fire in sustained, rapid bursts. A bill allowing the governor acknowledged that strengthening New York's gun laws could invite legal challenges from gun advocacy groups and activists, given the conservative tilt of the Supreme Court. The High Court's just several Republicans accused Democrats of grandstanding by pushing laws that already exist. For example, Mr. Cuomo, has been accused of politicizing gun control for his own benefit. But he also has on Tuesday, Democratic leaders in the legislature also made their antipathy to widespread gun use clear. I personally don't agree with it, but I respect it, the Assembly Speaker, Carly Hested, said of the Second Amendment. Senator Andrea Stewart Cousins, the Senate Majority Leader, promised further action in the coming months. The only other it will not be 6 years, believe me, between sensible gun laws, she said.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.